Hello from LevelUp 2021. I'm Adam, VP of Product at Lunar Labs, an iron source company. 2021 is largely being referred to as the year of the creatives. UA teams are evolving with their creative production processes just as much as the ecosystem around them. And now we're learning that the creative process is becoming more important than ever. But it's not easy, and you're bound to make mistakes along the way when creating this new internal team. So today we're going to take a look at the 5 most common mistakes that we see when setting up your creative processes and how to get around them. Just as a quick bit of background, Lunar Labs is a creative technology company that recently joined the ironSource family. We enable studios around the world to enable their efficiency and effectiveness of their creative production by providing them with technology, which in turn can help them unlock incremental performance. So, just as a bit of context, we've seen gradually over the last 18 months that game studios are bringing their creative production processes in-house. And they're doing this largely for 3 reasons. First of all, control. Studios want control over the iterations and the testing of their creatives to unlock that extra level of flexibility. They also want efficiency. Obviously, they want to save as much time and resources as possible, and doing this internally allows them to take that to new levels. But ultimately, these 2 points are underpinning the key one, which is driving incremental performance through creatives. In doing all these 3 things together, teams are looking to unlock a creative and competitive edge amongst the ecosystem. And here's a great quote from Ryan Davis, Head of Digital Marketing at Quali. As you can see, by taking their production processes internally, Quali were able to improve their ability to concept test much more effectively. And just to call it out, it's hard work, and you're going to make a lot of mistakes along the way. But it's through these mistakes when building your creative production that you're able to evolve and improve. So let's take a look at some of these common mistakes and how in turn these will shape your creative production processes. Mistake number 1, stop testing once you've found the winning creative. Now this point is just as much about your creative culture as it is about creativity itself. Testing doesn't stop when you found that winning creative. It's an ever-evolving process that should go on as long as the game itself. So until then, you're on the never-ending hunt for the next hero creative. When you do find these areas of success, what you want to do is capitalize on that and lock in those performance checkpoints. Find out what worked and ultimately find out what didn't work and use that for your next round of iterations. And here's a great example from Elictus with their game Moneybuster. With their Playable ad, they were able to change visual elements whilst testing to ultimately lead to a plus 22% improvement in CTR. Elictus really fostered the don't stop testing culture. Mistake number 2. Thinking that Playable ads can't work for you. It's important to move away from the idea of formats and instead focus on the experience that you're trying to create for your users instead. Playable ads can't work for us, we've tried Playable ads before, video ads always outperform them. And of course, my question is instantly, what Playable ad were you testing? The key point here is that Playable ads can work for any game in any genre. It's just all about finding the correct experience. And so, what you want to do with Playable ads is continue testing and find what works and what doesn't work and ultimately learn from that. And if you can get it right, then you can unlock some additional benefits. Playable ads have the ability for rapid prototype and testing because you can change any element within the playable in a moment. Also, you should be considering additional metrics like lifetime value and retention because often we see that with Playable ads you're able to drive these metrics more than you could with a video. And finally, in-ad data, and we'll come to that with our next mistake. Mistake number 3. Focusing on IPM only. IPM is an all-encompassing metric that indicates scale, effectiveness, and actually determines the price. And whilst I'm a big fan of this metric, there's only so much it can tell you. Focusing only on IPM tells you the what and leaves you understanding the why to subjectivity. So what we want to do is create ways within our creative process that actually remove some of this subjectivity. So point number 1 is around using in-ad events. These events exist within Playable ads and allow you to create a holistic picture of what is actually happening within the Playable itself, understanding key points within the Playable, key milestones, and actually looking where users are having bottlenecks. If you can do this correctly, you can really drive a next level of performance. The second point is around understanding the drivers, and these are the elements within the creative itself that actually contribute to the performance. By understanding these drivers, you can essentially build a creative map that allows you to then take the learnings there and apply them to the next round of testing. And here's a great example of how to use in-ad data by Supersonic with their game Archers.io. Supersonic are able to use in-ad data to understand how users react to different levels of difficulty within the game itself. By understanding this and then tweaking those parameters, they're able to drive incremental performance and better conversion rates for their game. Mistake number 4, stick within the limits of your knowledge and skills. The best creative teams work together at every stage, and actually it takes a team with no boundaries to find the ultimate success. Whilst you do have very specialized roles within the team, it's key to remember that everybody can contribute. So you might ask an analyst to join your ideation session, or you might ask a developer to join the feedback session. It's really important that we all join this mission together, and also in doing this, we're able to share the risk. In sharing the risk, we're able to remove the boundaries and unlock new areas of capability, efficiency, and also mean that we can take those crazy ideas and not worry about what others are going to think. And here's a great example from Homer Games with their game Freeze Rider. As you can see, the team here took the core concept from within the game, but actually superimposed this onto a very engaging image in the background. It is working as a creative team together that Homer were able to take these risks and actually find areas of performance that they couldn't have previously. Mistake number 5, fail to apply creative learnings to your game. Now that you've invested so much in your creative team and processes, what you really want to do is maximize your return and make sure that the learnings from your creatives are actually being sent back to the game design team. Just as much as your game design team will influence what your creatives will look like, we believe this should be a two-way street, and actually parts of your creatives can also make it back to the game itself. Ultimately, you want to try and create a consistent experience for your users, from the creative to your App Store page all the way through to the game and the tutorial itself. And here's one of our favorite examples by Playrix with their game Township. As you can see, Playrix are now using mini games within the app itself. These originated in marketing creatives that resonated well with users, and now they use this as a great retention metric within the game. So that's it. Those are the 5 most common mistakes we see that teams make when building out internal creative processes. But let's turn those into takeaways for you to think about after the presentation. Point 1 was about creating that don't stop culture. Always look for that next area of success. Continue iterating, continue testing, continue challenging yourself and your teammates. Point 2 was knowing that playable ads can work for you, no matter the game, no matter the genre. Think about the experience, not the format itself. The next point was about using in-ad data and creative data to better understand your performance. What you're trying to do here is remove the subjectivity. Point 4 was creating a team that knows no boundaries, that shares the risks, that gets involved with every stage of the process. And then the final point was about applying those creative learnings back to the game itself. And that's it from me. Look forward to seeing you next time.